where's my center? Okay.
On your cheek. I'm Josh Kelch.
I'm Vanessa Kelch.
We've been coming to Northgate. I've been coming like 13 years. How long have you been coming? Like 6?
I don't know. How long has Larry been here?
That long.
I've been here as long as Larry.
So spent my whole life in the church. Born and raised in the church. Mom played piano in the church. Always had ministry at the church. Always ran around the church. Church is always kind of home away from home. Not being in church was what was uncomfortable. Grew up, became an adult, started doing my own ministries at the church and becoming a part of the church. And I had a pastor friend of mine challenge me on tithing years ago and had told me, hey, why don't you? Essentially, you do all these things, you're in all these different facets, why don't you do that piece? And I just said that, my time I'm very free with, I'm easy to give it up, but the money I've always held on to very dear. Either I didn't have any, or the little bit I did have, went to me. And he said, look, here's the point I'm just trying to make. God doesn't need your money. He'd love for you to be part of this process. And he cries out for you to be part of this process. But I just ignored it, kind of always brushed it under the rug. It's easier not to do it than it is to do it. No one knows. No one's going to give me that phone call on Tuesday asking why I didn't tithe on Sunday. But and I always knew. And I don't know why, but that always just kind of resonated with me and stuck with me. And resonated to the point, middle of last year, where we actually decided to do something about it. In our whole marriage, we've had crushing debt. Until we had a blessing in December that God was able to work through, able to refinance our house to a point where we were able to knock all of that extra debt away, all the credit card debt and the loans and the stuff that crushes you, and get a clean slate. And it wasn't easy. It almost didn't happen. And I think through the fact that it almost didn't happen is how we understood that God was blessing it. Once we got that kind of financial freedom from Christ, it's hard not to give back. But that's when all those convictions kind of kicked up as well. It started reminding me of all the times I've been asked about tithing and why I don't tithe and why I'm in so many ministries, but I'm not willing to trust Him with this one little part.
We've always wanted to tithe. It's something we've always wanted to do because we're Christ followers and we knew it's what we should be doing. But the reality of it is it's not easy, especially when you're a newer couple, you're just getting started. We have a blended family. There are things that come up that we didn't know how to plan for, and so tithing just was always on the back burner.
Doing it was just the next logical step. There was no reason not to do it unless I wanted to be intentionally disobedient to God. He'd given me every reason to start. And starting was one of the best things that we've been able to do. We immediately saw an impact in our finances. Immediately things got cleaned up. And for me, that act of service was how I was being obedient to God. There was some freedom just in being able to do it and say confidently, hey, do you tithe? Yeah, I do. I am a part of that. And I'm a part of trusting in that process and trusting through that process. So being able to now be in all the ministries I'm in, having all the friends I do that are part of this tithing and being able to be a part of it as well and speak to it, that I also am a part of that club, has been pretty freeing and pretty cool as well.
Don't be fearful. God doesn't give you that fear about tithing. It's coming from somewhere else. And so if you just let go of that feeling and push through it, you will be blessed.
Not saying it's not going to hurt. If it doesn't hurt, is it really worth it? But I am saying you're going to be blessed through it. I'm evidence of that. We're worried about money, but money can't buy the peace you get from